Welcome to the Quantum Body Podcast, where transformation isn't just skin deep. We blend manifestation with functional health so you can heal your body, shift your mindset, and create the life and body you actually want.
Hosted by two functional health coaches and self-healing rebels, this podcast is your space to learn how to regulate your nervous system, rebalance your hormones, and rewire your reality. Each week, we dive into root causes of weight loss resistance, hormone havoc, stress and inflammation, how to shift your body from stuck to responsive. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right and nothing is changing, then this show is for you. We believe that healing is also multidimensional, and so are you.
This podcast is for educational purposes and informational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical condition, nor is it a substitute for personalized medical advice from a licensed provider. Happy frickin' Friday, or whatever day somebody's watching this.
Yes, for us, it's Friday. And Friday's
Yeah.
always how we like coast into the weekend. I know we usually don't do check-ins and it's a lighter schedule.
Yes, yeah, my favorite day of the week. Not because of no check-ins, but just because we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, I like that we've gone back to it too. I feel like we had a few weeks of just crazy, and now we're back together again.
Yay. My favorite. My favorite.
I'm really excited for this episode because we're going to dive more into just kind of our like behind the scenes business and what's been going on there. We touched on it briefly last week, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So we touched on it briefly last week. You have now joined me in the business. You have started posting on your social media about it more, and I know you're generating some interest and stuff like that. It's amazing to me the interest that we're both getting in this, and it's really exciting and inspiring because we get to help so many women now, not just with their bodies or their mindset, but also with freedom, like true and real freedom.
I think, you and I both kind of share our purpose and really our soul contract. What really lights us up is seeing other women really freaking succeed. And like not just, look and feel better, but actually show up differently, show up vibrantly, step into their whole self and confident self. And I used to say when I was a corporate sales trainer, I used to say that like I really loved helping people and training them because I was helping them make so much more money. Like,
Yeah.
and everybody is happier when they have more money. And so I don't know why it kind of took me so long to kind of connect the dots that we can help them look and feel better, but we can also help them get wealthy as shit.
Yeah. And I think that's huge. And like, you kind of touched on it there with like people are happier when they're making good money, but like money is the ultimate nervous system regulator. And so like people don't realize when you're financially struggling or, things are piling up in the background, like that is keeping you stuck in fight or flight. And I know you
Mhm.
and I have both had so many clients come to us that they have these unresponsive bodies and they want help so desperately that they're like struggling to get their pennies together to hire us, but then they don't see the results that they want when working with us because their body is still so stressed out because mentally, physically, emotionally, in the background, that is always running that I have this financial stress. I'm struggling to put food on the table. I'm having to not do certain things or maybe not get your hair done or like I don't know, not even buy all the things that you need for your family, your kids, whatever. And it's really hard to have a responsive body when like that stress is constantly in the background, like it's keeping you stuck in fight or flight. So money truly becomes the ultimate nervous system regulator, and when somebody has more freedom financially, that'll be the piece that clicks them into a body that is finally responding. And I think that is like, because we work with so many women that are struggling, like if that's the domino that tips them into having the body, the life that they desire, yes, hell yes, absolutely yes.
Yeah. And you know what too? It's just it's I don't know. For me, it's just kind of like such a like full circle moment because we are both functional health coaches. We work with a lot of people that are functionally kind of impaired or in a body that's just not responsive. And so, we usually go through our assessments and we try to figure out kind of the root cause. And a lot of times they have, hormonal issues or dysregulation with blood sugar, insulin resistance, and these other kind of things. But 9 out of 10 times, the root cause is their adrenal fatigue or high stress or being stuck in that fight or flight. And when you're stuck in this place where your body's just focused on survival, it's less likely to change despite doing everything right. And so we always get those clients that are like, oh, I've been doing all the things and I've been doing this. And a lot of times we start them off by feeding them more food, having them pull back on training, having them pull back on working out. And what we're really doing is we're trying to manipulate that fight or flight. We're trying to get their body to chill out for a second, to pull the stress down for a second. And, the full circle moment for me is like, okay, but like instead of just tricking the body into thinking it's safe, how about we actually provide some motherfucking safety with some finances?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
How about we actually freaking take care of the problem, which a lot of Americans and even, Canadians are dealing with right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I know you talk about this with your clients as well. And I am very heavy on nervous system regulation with my clients, right? So
Mhm. You
breath
have to
work,
be.
somatic practices, meditation, like anything that's going to get that nervous system out of fight or flight. But it's still like you can be doing all of those practices. But if the second you're done that practice, you're immediately thinking about all the stress that you have financially or however else that's showing up for you, you're immediately jerking your nervous system back into fight or flight, right?
Right.
And so when you're in that place of fight or flight, I mean, ultimately your body thinks it's running from the bear. So cortisol spikes and then blood glucose spikes. And like, of course, it's going to be a struggle to lose weight when your body constantly thinks like fucking disaster is impending. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, if you can take away that stress and all of a sudden your nervous system has room to breathe, well, that's a game changer. Like literally everything changes in that moment.
Well, because so many of our clients and women that we have the pleasure of working with, we're having to do central nervous system, regulation daily, and sometimes multiple times a day, just to keep their body in this place where it's responsive. But it's really to counterbalance the high stress that they're dealing with. And 9 out of 10 times that high stress is tied back to financial or feeling like they have to hustle because they're an entrepreneur and they're, chasing a next sale. And so it was just kind of like this aha moment. And
Yeah.
really, really am excited about it because I know it's changing freaking lives.
It is. And I think the really, really cool thing about this opportunity that we're involved in is it's changing lives quickly. Like,
Hmm.
this isn't something that, okay, you get involved in and then maybe you see the payoff in a year or 2 years or whatever. This is you get involved and you see the payoff in weeks, months, not years, right? Like, it's something that the sky is the limit with as well, which I think is so fucking cool. Excuse my language, but it is so fucking cool because whether you want to make an extra $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month, like it's totally up to you. And as much as the average person listening to this is going to say $50,000 a month, like that's ridiculous. That's not possible. There's literally people on our team that are making that, and they've been with the
Yeah.
company for 8 months. They've been in the business for 8 months. And my favorite story, I shared this on my story yesterday, but one of my favorite team stories is this woman, Alana. She lives in a small town, had 400 followers on Instagram. She just made $56,000 last month. Last month alone, right? Like that is wild. And it just shows you what is possible if you decide to like bet on yourself, go all in on yourself and truly take that chance.
Right. But also too, so just from like another kind of perspective, a lot of us and a lot of my followers, because when I first started, back when I was like 20 years old, which we're not going to date myself, but back when I was like
So
20 years
like 5 years
old, yeah, basically,
ago.
when I started freezing my face with Botox.
Yeah.
But back when I was like 20 years old, I signed up with Beachbody and I did exceptionally well. I mean, I won a lot of the rank challenges. I had really big teams. I was hustling my face off, and even, top of the leaderboards in a lot of different ways. And I was making barely any money. And you're constantly like, I was like constantly like chasing rank and like, trying to get people to buy, multiple programs and all the things. And like, if you go back 10 years ago and you look at my Instagram or my Facebook, that's all I was talking about. And the difference now is, this is like a truly like behind the scenes business. Like you don't see me
Yeah.
in your face trying to sell you anything or like push products down my friends and family's throats, or like I'm still doing what I freaking love to do, which is coaching women. This is just running autonomously,
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
And I think that's like really important is, one, like Beachbody was also an MLM. This isn't an MLM. Just so anybody watching this, just so they know it isn't actually an MLM. But it is affiliate marketing in the high ticket space, right?
Mhm.
So high ticket sales means high ticket commissions, and most of it is running behind the scenes. Like most of it is coming in passively because of the way we're doing it and because we're doing it so differently than any other company out there, like, Beachbody was for you. But it also means that high ticket means you're not forcing things down people's throats and like trying
Yeah.
to sell something so you get $5 worth of commission or whatever, Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was crazy. And by all by all definitions, I was super successful,
Yeah.
with that. And so I think a lot of us, we've kind of gotten burnt out on the like make money from your phone sales pitch. And from I guess from like my background of like Beachbody and doing exceptionally well but not making good money. And then, working as a sales trainer for, geez, I don't know, a couple of decades, and like making really good money in like the sales space. And so I think just kind of like the combination of all of my experience and business background, when I saw the way that this was laid out, I knew that we had to do this. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
And I think like for anybody listening that's like interested or anything like that, one thing I do want to say is like another thing that makes this different is that there's full support and training. So even if you're not like Crystal and I and have been running a business online for years and experienced in the online space, there's full training and full support to answer all of your questions, because I know that's something, and the women I've talked to are scared of. They're like, well, I don't know how. And it's like, you don't have to know how. It's literally a plug and play system. Everything is laid out for you. Everything is designed for you. Like it couldn't get any easier, to be quite honest.
And we operate as a team.
Yeah, 100%. You're not doing this alone.
And we share wins. We operate as a team. We move together. And so
Yeah.
if I have a win, the whole team benefits. If you have a win, the whole team benefits. And so it's a unique opportunity that can really run autonomously behind the scenes. You're not shoving any products down anybody's throats and being like a door-to-door salesperson. That's not what this is. It's just very kind of natural. And so
Yeah. And
I
I love
truly,
that about
truly
it.
believe that anybody can do this.
Anybody could and anybody should, like, period, hands down, because who doesn't need more money with less work?
Yeah, for real. For real. So that's
Anyways, I think
that.
we'll leave that there.
But definitely, I mean, reach out if you have any questions. We're an open book. We have no problem, getting into the ins and outs with everybody, but it's unique and it's gonna freaking explode.
It is. It is. Like it's so I could talk about this nonstop because like I'm so passionate about it and I think we have the true vehicle for freedom, right? Like the way this is set up, the way we're all moving as a team, the way we're all winning together, like this is a true vehicle for freedom and it's not something that's going to be good one day and not the next. Like this is lifetime of freedom and
Mhm.
possibilities and stuff like that. And eh, it's just so exciting to know that so many people can change their life with this so easily without, hustling harder. I think that is the biggest thing.
And not only that, but like, I mean, even worst case scenario, you're making a shitload of extra money every month and you don't, I mean, like worst case scenario is still pretty damn good. So
Yeah.
it's like even if you never talked about it ever again, you're still gonna benefit. You're still gonna make money. Like
Yeah.
it's the craziest thing. Like it
So
because
funny.
the passive side, because there's an active side and a passive side. And so when we talk about, the sky's the limit, it really is it's your appetite. You can sign up and just be along for the ride with the passive side, or you can be along for the ride and we'll really take your hand and hold your hand and help you create an online business because we're obviously successful in the online space.
Yeah.
So
It's funny. I'm going to use this as an example. So a really good friend of mine, she joined the business, my friend Jessie. And she was like super gung ho, couldn't wait to get started. And I absolutely loved that for her. But then life happens, right? Life smacks you in the fucking face sometimes. And, she's got, a loved one. Her grandma is in the hospital right now and she's been having to deal with that. And like, so really, really sad and stressful for her. So she's kind of like, I don't have the mental capacity to like go all in on this right now. She's like, I still want to, but life has to happen and that's okay. Like shit happens, but she's
right,
still making money just because she said yes, right?
right.
Like getting to text her and be like, hey, so this much money is being dropped into your account. And like seeing that excitement without her having to do anything, like that's huge.
Yeah. Yep. And that's where it's like just so exciting because the passive and the active side. So
Yeah.
anyways, obviously
Anyway,
we're freaking excited about it. And um yeah, I think it's gonna be, I don't think I know it's gonna be freaking insane, but I'm just so excited to do this with you.
I know, me too.
Having a business with your fucking best friend, so
Is
dope.
like next level.
It's like
And
we've always run parallel, like we both have our own companies, with online coaching and whatnot. And so we're always into the same shit anyways, but being able to actually, grow something and share it with you is so freaking exciting.
I know. I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I'm like, this is the whole reason, like, chain of events, bridge of incidents. Like, I firmly believe, like, this is why we were both with Scooby Health. This is why I was fucking sick on that hike, and we ended up hiking that stupid mountain together, and that's when we
And the
bonded.
whole team left us. They
Yeah.
took all the team photos without us.
Yeah, we struggled up that fucking mountain, and you were in prep. I was like trying not to hurl the entire
Prep of
time.
death, by the way.
Yeah. And like that, and then from there, I mean, obviously, we became amazing friends, like, besties. We started doing podcasts together, planning retreats, like all of these things. And I think it was to like culminate at this point where we were supposed to be doing this business together. And like that was our bridge of incidents.
100%. And if we're gonna tip into like that quantum and that spiritual side, but everything fucking happens for you. Nothing happens to you.
Absolutely.
Everything happens for you. And so I firmly believe that everything that's happening in your life, you're calling into your life. You're manifesting 24/7, whether or not you are happy with the results or not happy with the results, you brought them in yourself. But I also feel like, there's a certain level of destiny and there's a certain level that like you can't fuck up. Like what's meant for you is going to find its way to you.
Yeah.
And for me, like even going back like, 20 years, like I know that everything that I've gone through has really led me to this point, like to this point, because now it's okay. Like I'm going to be helping women, create their businesses and whatnot. And I spent decades helping, rich businessmen get richer and help them, create their own financial freedom. And now I get to do it for people that look and sound like me. And it's so cool. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
everything that I've gone through and all of my experience has brought me to this point for literally this,
Yeah.
you
And I
know?
think it's so funny because a few months ago, and I mean, this could have been 6 months ago. I don't know. Time is not my strong suit.
Uh-huh.
Um, however long ago it
Thank
was.
you, anyways.
Yeah. You were talking about how you wanted to start business coaching for coaches, right? Like you had planted that seed that you wanted to do something in the business coaching space because you have that background and you're very strong in that. And I was talking about how I wanted to do more in the manifestation space and the energetic space, right? And then we have this opportunity that lands in our lap that literally blends the two together, right? Like
Yeah.
energetics, manifestation, building your business, the business side of it, like those things we were calling in and saying we wanted to do, we literally got handed this business that allows us to do both of those things. And that's what's going to allow us to make everyone on our team so fucking successful.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And I think I told you, so my husband, he owns a cybersecurity company, and I've helped them out with like the sales division of their company multiple times, and I've popped onto calls and whatnot, and they've tried to recruit me so many times, and they're like, listen, like, give us a number, like, what do you need, like, we want to hire you, like, please, like, let's figure this out, let's make it happen. And I always push back, and I'm like, I just don't want to go back to corporate. But I shared with you before, I was like, man, I really freaking miss sales though. Like, I really
Yeah.
miss teaching people that skill, because it is really easy when you make it easy. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, I was like, man, I really miss like training people and helping them, in that aspect. And but I don't want to do this. Like, like, I don't want to go back to corporate, but man, I really miss kind of that side of things, because with coaching it's different. I mean, a lot of personal trainers will tell you like, oh, I don't have a roster because I suck at sales. And I always argue back, like, this isn't really sales. Like, people come to you, and if you're a good problem solver, you're going to have a good roster.
Yeah.
Look at it like, I'm here to solve problems. I'm here to, help you get from A to B, and always be in solution mode. You're always going to have a full roster, and there's nothing to really worry about. But when you look at it like, I have to close every single person I talk to, like, that's why your roster is failing. And so I've always said, like, I really want to help people just understand that we're in the people business. Like, we're in the helping people business. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And we have the tool set to help people. And so to look at it from the other side of like, not only can I help you get healthy and be fit as fuck and age in reverse, but I can also help your bank account now, because
Yeah.
that was so fun for me for so long, helping people grow their income and their status. So
Yeah. And then it becomes cyclical because, like, oh, yeah, I can help you on the physical side of it, age in reverse, blah, blah, blah. I can help your bank account. By helping your bank account, I'm going to further help the physical
right.
transformation. Right. And like the more people that are living in their full potential, that bleeds into everybody else. Right. That's how you change
That's
the
just good for
world.
society. Yeah.
Yeah, because the more people that are regulated, calm, grounded, wealthy, happy, that's going to inspire more of those people to make that change and live their life that way, right? So it becomes a movement. It becomes like a true vehicle of freedom for like everybody. And it's just going to cascade over.
Well, I mean, I would say we've all experienced like that one person that's just like magnetic. And like, they like, when you're around them, you're like, oh, they have good vibes or they have good energy, and you can't really like put your finger on it. You can be that person.
Yeah.
Like, you can be that person. This is literally, how you get there is you work on your energetics, and you work on your own mindset, and what your own belief pattern and subconscious dialogue is, and like, you can become that person and have that ripple effect on everybody around you.
And because this is, the Quantum Body podcast, right? And speaking of like manifestation, whatever the universe is showing you, right? Whatever the universe has put into your heart as a desire, whether it's more money, whether it's this business opportunity, whether it's the better body, you would not have that desire if there was not a version of you that already has that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's infinite timelines, infinite realities, there's infinite versions of you all existing in this exact moment. And the reason you have that desire is because there's already a version of you that has that thing. And so, how you get there and how you collapse that timeline is by becoming that person now. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes all that takes is taking that one step forward that that future version of you already has. So maybe it's saying yes to this business, or maybe it's choosing foods that love you back, or maybe it's just, working on mindset and doing your nervous system regulation and like embodying that version of you now. And
Right,
that's how you become her and collapse that timeline.
right, right. Really getting clear on what is the her you want to be, right? Really getting clear on how she moves, what she looks like, what her bank account looks like, what kind of car does she drive, how's her attitude, how does she fuel herself, how does she carry herself, what's her energy like, and really, really getting crystal clear and not leaving anything up to, chance or whatnot, but really getting clear. And then asking yourself, like, what's something I can do that she would do? Like, what's something
Yeah.
I could do today that she would be doing? Would she be eating this food? Would she be eating, this Big Mac, or would she be eating some chicken and some quinoa and whatever, right? Like asking yourself, like, what is it that she would do? And then start just doing those things. And then that's, like you said, collapsing those timelines together. And man, I've done that every single time I've leveled up in my life. I've done that and starting
Yeah.
to, and we talked about this, I think, on the first podcast, but literally scripting out exactly the version of myself that would be like the best case scenario. And then asking myself daily, like, okay, what would she do?
Yeah.
How would she dress? How is she carrying herself into a room?
Exactly. And you have to ask yourself that, right? And you
Mhm.
also like, because so many people, especially when it comes to say like this business opportunity, but even, weight loss and stuff like that, there's so many people, and we hear this all the time. Well, I could never do that. I could never be successful at that. Like, oh, whether it's I'm not good at sales, or, I don't have the discipline or the dedication, or, all of those like limiting beliefs that come up, that literally means like you can because you have the desire for it. Like as soon as you say, well, I wish I could, but well, if you actually wish you could, that's because there
You're
is a
supposed
version
to.
of you. Yeah, that you're supposed to.
That's
There's a
your
version
hint.
of you. Yeah, exactly. And like if you followed those desires more, you would be living the life that you wanted, right? But every time you stop yourself by saying like, oh, well, I couldn't do that. Like I'm not like you. That you're sabotaging yourself. You're keeping yourself stuck because that's not true. That's bullshit. That's some bullshit story that got ingrained in your head, and it is your job to stop identifying with a story that was never yours to tell because that story didn't come from you. That story came from years of programming and other people's bullshit. That story is not yours to keep telling, and so it's your job to release it and to say, yeah, why the fuck not? Why the
Why
fuck
not
not?
me? Why
Yeah,
not me?
because if you're seeing somebody else doing it, that means you can do it.
It's
The
proof.
universe only, yeah, the universe is a mirror. In your reality, you are the only thinker in it, right? You are the operant power of your reality. Everyone else is just a mirror. And so when you're looking at somebody and saying like, "Oh fuck, I wish I could have Crystal's glutes," or "Oh, I wish I could, make more money."
Who says that?
I do.
Who says that?
Right here. No. But like anybody that's saying
You're
that,
crying. It's my dream.
those desires are your sign to realize that yes, you can, and yes, move forward and start telling yourself you can instead of telling yourself you can't.
Yes, 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 yes. And you should always, so for me, one thing and I forget where I heard this or where I picked it up, but somebody always told me, like, whatever gives you like that nervous butterfly kind of feeling, that's literally your compass. That's your internal compass, that's what you should be chasing after. And so when you have like this like moment where you're like, oh, like that would be really crazy, like, and then you get like that nervous kind of like butterfly feeling of like, oh my God, I really fucking want that. But then your rational brain takes over and it's like, no, be realistic. Like, no, that's your breadcrumbs. Like that's literally
Yes.
crumbs you should be following for your ultimate higher self.
That is your higher self speaking to you, right?
That's
When you feel
breadcrumbs, yeah.
those, yeah, when you feel those sensations in your body, that is your higher self like speaking to you. And so whether it's butterflies or tingling or like I get a lot of like head buzzing or, whenever you have that sensation, like that is literally your higher self saying, yeah, bitch, this is the thought and
Pay
this is
attention.
this is
Yeah.
where you're supposed to be going.
Like if you ever, if you ever feel like that kind of, nervousness or tightness or whatnot in your body, that's such a freaking clue. It's such a clue.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird, but every single time I see somebody like on stage, like a singing competition or whatnot, I always feel like tightness in like my voice in my chest. But
Yeah.
like I've spent most of my life on stages giving motivational speeches, and now as a competitor, like I'm on stage all the time. And so like it's literally a breadcrumb. Like you can always connect the dots back if you think about it.
Yeah. And I think, it's so funny. I don't know why this just made me think of that, but like when I was a kid, I used to get so fucking nervous anytime I had to like speak in public or like I was a figure skater before I got on ice for like competitions and stuff like that. I would get so nervous to the point that like I would throw up type of thing, like just be
Oh.
shaking,
Mhm.
trembling. But I always, one of my superpowers is I will always push through the nerves. Like, no matter how nervous I am, I will always push through. And like, I would win the speaking competitions and, yeah, like anything I did. And that translated into then bodybuilding, right? Like the first few times I got on stage, like so nervous. And I just was like, no, like I'm going to practice and, do all the things until I am a natural. And now people are always like, yeah, but you're so confident, like you're so polished on stage, like, public speaking, like you come across with such conviction. And it's like, yeah, it wasn't natural for me. Like if you saw videos of when I was a kid, like you probably thought I was going to piss myself, but like I literally pushed through until I got to that place where it's just so natural. And I
Yeah,
think that's because, the universe like
getting your attention.
yeah, yeah, the universe pushes you for where you need to go and challenges you to grow.
Hmm. And I also think that and there's this like soul contract level of it of like we're going to have challenges in our life that help hone our skills that we need.
Yeah.
And even I was just like on this horseback riding, adventure with my kids. And I was talking to the woman that owns the ranch, and she has a 13-year-old daughter. And when I was 12 years old, I started working at a horse ranch, and I was the one leading the trail rides. And so I was like, "Oh my God, does your little girl, does she like lead the trail rides?" And she was like, "No, she doesn't." She was like, "Not that she couldn't, like she's been on horses since she could walk, but she just gets nervous and like doesn't know what to talk about and all the things." And I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "You might want to give her a little nudge because I fully believe that me being a 12-year-old child leading trail rides and meeting all walks of life from businessmen to bridal parties to like, birthday parties and like all different walks of life and like forcing that conversation for a 2-hour trail ride, being responsible for their happiness is what honed my skills and being able to be a salesperson. Because by the time I was 16 and 17, I was working at car dealerships and actively like in sales roles, you know?
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, and then it carried me through, at one point I was vice president of an insurance company in a sales capacity. And so I was like, you never know because that's such a skill to be able to talk to people. But it was just like such an aha moment because I was like, I never even thought about that before. But that was such a big piece of like my story because I was like a homeschooled trailer park trash kid. So like and like the ranch, like working at the ranch, like 100% honed my ability to like have conversations and speak eloquently and talk to different walks of life. And I was like, it was just like a aha moment. I was like, why did I never even piece that together? But everything happens for you.
Yeah, everything is part of your bridge of incidents, right? Everything is leading to you to where you need to be. And something that I think I was reflecting on this actually yesterday is that the universe doesn't look at as anything as like positive or negative. It's
Hmm.
just experiences, right? We're the ones who identify an experience as either positive or negative. And so when you take away that lens of like, this is something I prefer and this is something I don't prefer, and you just look at it for what it is, what is this experience trying to teach me or trying to show me? That's what moves you forward. Like, that's what makes the change. And yeah, lots of shitty things happen in our lives, right? Like there's lots of people that are in situations that I would never want to be in. And, there's things that I've been through that I'm sure I would never want anyone else to experience, like even the dog attack and stuff like that. But it's still only through my lens that I view that as a negative experience, when in reality, it was a neutral experience that shifted my perspective on life and allowed me to grow in a way that not having that experience wouldn't have, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. Always, always trying to zoom out and remind yourself that you're not the victim, you're actually the main character.
Yeah,
And no great superhero doesn't have a cool origin story. Like
exactly.
no main character doesn't have a good origin story. So get it together and zoom out and realize, how does this tie into your origin story?
Yes. And I talk about that a lot in terms of like you are not a victim. Like you may have been victimized, but you're not a victim,
Right.
right? There might have been something really fucking shitty that happened to you, and I'm sorry, but you're only a victim if you allow yourself to continue to be a victim of that. Um,
Hmm.
and it's up to you. Like nobody can do it for you. It's up to you to transcend that experience and turn it into something good. I mean, it's like you see so so many different types of people in terms of like people that have lost limbs, and there's the people that have lost their leg and then all of a sudden they're on prosthetics running marathons and doing all of this stuff because they've said no, I'm not letting this like hold me back. And on the flip side of that, there's the people that have lost a limb and then they've just given up on life,
Yeah,
right? And so it's always a choice. It's always a choice. Like you might not have had a choice of the circumstance, but you have a choice in how you respond to that circumstance.
I believe that so much. And I think we all have our stories or whatnot, but as somebody that's kind of, been through like a lot of gnarly abuse and sexual abuse and like just a real kind of gnarly history in childhood. I was watching, there's this creator on Facebook at least, and I don't know if he's on Instagram, he probably is, but his show is called The Soft White Underbelly, I
Oh, I
think.
haven't seen it.
And he interviews people from like crazy walks of life, like a lot of prostitutes or like pimps or drug dealers or people that have been shot in the face or people that are homeless. And like he interviews them. And what's so crazy is every single one blames their childhood for where they are. Not every single, I mean, most of them are like, oh, well, I'm like this because of X, Y, and Z that. And I'm watching, I'm like, that was 40 years ago. Like that was this much of your life. Like think about how empowering it would be to stand on that and say, I overcame this shit and used it as fuel and now I'm X, Y, and Z. But every single time I watch these interviews and like these people are really in a rough way. And every single time I'm like, but if you just shifted, like just shift just a little bit, like just shift that perspective. Because as somebody that has survived some shit, that was always like my gasoline. That wasn't
Yeah.
the, well, now I'm just gonna start crack because I was sexually abused. Like,
And it's so interesting to me because there are the people like you that have this inspiring story and switched it all around, and then the people that have just like succumbed to that and that becomes their entire identity. And I think that's like part of it is like you never let that become your identity. When you start identifying with your circumstances, that's what keeps you stuck in those circumstances. And we see that all the time with people, even overweight people. Well, I'm fat, right? So they
I'm fat, it's
identify
hard for
I
me to
am a
lose
fat
weight.
person. right?
Yeah,
Or I have this autoimmune condition. I'm sick. I am, and they become their I am
I
becomes
have lupus, so this is
identity.
hard for me, or I have
Yeah.
fill in the blank. Yeah, you're right. You're so
Yeah.
right. And they're
And
identifying
so
as a problem.
yeah, so it becomes when your I am becomes your circumstance, you're giving that power away to that circumstance, right? Your I am has to be no, I am the creator. I am the creator of my life. I get to control the narrative of what I want to see, experience, do, have. You have to step out of that I am fill in the blank, right?
Hmm.
And it's sad because I think in society nowadays, the majority of people are identifying with their circumstances instead of
Or
identifying.
looking for a label.
Yeah. Everybody wants a
Get
fucking
that feeling
label.
of
Oh
like
my
everybody
God.
is like, oh, but I have ADHD. I have a touch of the tism. I've got, fill in the, it's like
I get
the
so
cool thing
mad
right now.
at all the fucking ADHD videos. I'm like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm fucking old, but like nobody wanted to have ADHD when I was young, right? Like nobody
It's
wanted that
business,
label. And now
right?
everybody wants that label.
Because they want a reason for their inconsistencies and their lack of whatever it is. And it's like they want a title to put on it and be like, oh, well, this is hard for me because I have ADHD or because I have, like now, like everybody's saying, like, oh, I've got a touch of the tism. I'm like, but is that really what you want?
Yeah.
That's
Do
that's
you
that's
really, or
really
is
where
it an
we are. And
excuse?
like they're self-diagnosing, which is
Yeah.
they're like having a conversation with ChatGPT and they're like, yep, I'm autistic now. And I'm like, what? Like, like,
It's
are you
so
though, or are you just unmotivated? Do you just not have a passion? Do you just not have discipline?
I know. And like the wild thing to me is the things that people make up. Like, oh, I have time blindness, so I can never be on time. Or like I
Yes,
like, oh my God,
or they
just
say like a cultural thing,
yeah.
like because I'm X, Y, and Z, you know,
Yeah, fill in the blank.
whatever. Yeah, then this is what it is. And like, yeah, that's man.
It's so fucking wild to me that like everybody wants a label and an excuse and it's like even people that come to us and work with us and they're like going to doctor and it's like well I need a label and it's like well maybe the label is just like you need to stop looking for something to be wrong with you and you need to just start living a healthy lifestyle and doing the things that are going to get you closer to your goal instead of looking for something to excuse the reason why you're in a body or a life that you don't want.
Right. And
Like the only way to change, and I say this all the fucking time, my clients probably hate me for it, is radical
it's gonna be on
self-honesty.
your headstone.
Yeah, you need radical self-honesty. Like until you are brutally fucking honest with yourself, you're gonna stay stuck.
Have you read Extreme Ownership?
No, I own
Like
it
it.
though.
You would like it. It's on my
Yeah.
bookshelf. I'm like, I'll mail it to you, but you already have it. Like it
Yeah, it's on my bookshelf. I just haven't read it yet.
was one of the because of the sales background, we were like always reading, stuff like that. And that's one of the like cornerstone books in sales. It's like Extreme Ownership, but it's along the same idea.
Yeah. And like you need that. You need that radical self-honesty. But the reason people look for labels is because then it takes you away from having to take that ownership, right? Like you don't have to take responsibility for the things that are going wrong in your life if you can blame it on a label.
Hmm. And it just makes it more palatable when you aren't living the life that you want to. It's,
Yeah.
it makes it more palatable, be like, I have this excuse, so that's why shit's harder for me.
Yeah.
But
My
also,
life
like,
sucks, but it's not my fault. It's fill in the blank's fault.
but I also too, I think that sometimes, and this is, a little bit obscure, but I think sometimes people are really looking for a label because they're looking for a community that they just don't have.
Yeah.
They have just like this deep like issue where they just have never felt accepted, or really like they've never felt like they know who they are.
Yeah.
I think is really kind of the another kind of piece of it is I think there's two
I
different people. I
agree.
think it's the people that are like looking for an excuse as to like why I can't do and be and all the things. But I also think the flip side of the coin is people are just they're looking for their identity. And it's so sad that like you need a label to try to find out who you are.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's because people nowadays are so desperate for connection, and we've created this sort of society and this lifestyle that doesn't have that interpersonal connection,
mhm,
right? Like we're all hiding behind our screens, and there isn't that interpersonal connection where you're actually learning and developing who it is you are, right? By exploring and seeing like, oh, I prefer this, I don't prefer this, right? It's become so desperate to be like, maybe I don't prefer this, but they do, and I want to fit in with them.
mhm.
Yeah, it's really sad to be quite honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I do think is, I'm actually gonna zip it because I almost got into the transgender conversation and that's
Oh,
what we're here for.
I mean, maybe one day we'll get into that
That's
conversation.
not what we're here for.
Yeah. Um, I think tying it back to the quantum, and I know we got to wrap this up because you got to go pick up Scarlett. But I would just say like your I am statement is the most powerful thing. That is what creates your reality when we talk, in manifestation terms. And so if you're telling yourself, I am broke, I am fat, I am frustrated, I am sad, I am depressed, I am anxious, like if those are your I am statements, you're never going to improve your life or improve your quality or improve your body or improve anything that you are saying that you want. You have to start identifying with a different I am, right? I am safe. I am grounded. I am happy. I am joyful. I am whatever. Like, decide what it is the I am is that you want and start acting as the person that is that I am.
You just have to imagine yourself as a giant magnet pulling in whatever it is that you're saying, right? So if you're always like, fuck, I'm so broke, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. And if you're constantly telling your kids, like, we don't have the money for this, we don't have the money for this, what you don't realize is like you're subconsciously like drilling that in, and your brain is always, always, always going to find you more evidence. So it's like, cool, you're so broke or you don't have the money for X, Y, and Z. Let me send you some more bills.
Yeah.
Slap you with a surprise ticket. Let me like
And it's not
draw all
like,
these things in.
yeah, and it's hard like when that financial pinch is there and you're sitting there going like I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent or whatever it is. Like yeah, that anxiety is going to be there, but don't identify with it. Right?
Right.
I mean, delusional self-belief is going to get you very, very far, but it doesn't have to be 100% of the time. If even only 51% of the time you are thinking, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am successful, everything flows to me easily. Like, I don't know where the money's coming from, but it's going to come. That is going to weigh out the other 49% of the time where you're sitting there going, oh, I'm fucking, struggling.
But
Um, yeah, you just have to make your dominant thoughts. And like dominant doesn't mean perfect or all the time, but just make your dominant thoughts the positive ones.
even too, so something that I always do, like in the moment, this can be, any topic, but we'll stay on finances. But even if like you notice that like, that kind of like noose tightening and you're like, oh my God, like this is getting tight, this is getting tight. You check your bank account, and you're like, oh God, it's less than what I was hoping for, or whatever. Even if like I am rich, I am wealthy, like even if you can't get there, grasp the next best thing. I've always figured this out.
Yes.
I always figure this shit out. I always figure this shit out. Money always figures itself out. My bills always figure themselves out. Like I always figure this out. It always works out. I've
Yeah.
never been kicked out on the streets. I've never been homeless. I've never not had a cell phone. Like I always figure this out. I'm gonna figure it out again. Like
Yeah.
just grasp for like the next best thing, and you'd be
For
surprised
me,
how big of an impact that can make.
yeah. And for me, sometimes like when things get bad and like I'm sitting there, trying to pick that next best thought, sometimes it's just things can change in an instant.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. And it's like it's very
Really,
easy to grab onto because literally, yeah, things can change in an instant, right? Like that's not creating friction with my nervous system because it's true.
or what's the best thing that could happen?
Yeah.
What's the best thing that could happen? What's the most amount of money I can make today?
I love that one. When you sent me that video,
Yeah,
love that one. What's the most amount of money I can make today?
right. What's the best thing that could happen today? You know,
Yeah.
and kind of flipping and you'd be surprised, but
Well, and especially because, like, from a neurological perspective, when you have that thought, what is the best thing that could happen to me today? Right? Show me how good it can get. Your reticular activating system is going to say, oh, that's what you want? Okay. And it's literally going to show you all of the fucking good things that are out there, right?
mhm,
That's the power of your thoughts.
amen.
Amen. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank
Yeah.
you for hanging out with us on the Quantum Body Podcast, where we talk about the things that really move the needle: gut health, hormone balance, nervous system regulation, mindset, and manifesting your dream reality from the inside out.
And now we got to layer in their finances. Because now
Finances,
help with your
yes.
financial wealth as well. So sit tight. But like, follow, and subscribe for all things functional health and quantum healing. If you want to dig deeper with us, you can find us on Instagram at coachc.wellness and at crystal_stretch. Your transformation starts now. Let's rise.